In the stillness of that night, Nafisa's world shattered. He came to her, his voice dripping with false kindness, his touch a violation of her innocence. Fear choked her voice. Her eyes, once vibrant with joy, now burned with terror and confusion. The days that followed were blurred and empty. Nafisa's laughter had vanished, her stories replaced by silence. Her mother noticed the change and pressed her for the truth. When Nafisa finally spoke, her words were heavy with pain and trembling shame. "Mama, he hurt me." Mama Zara's face turned pale, her eyes flickering with rage and grief. But her reaction was not what Nafisa expected. She held her daughter close, yet her words were a cage. "You must not speak of this again, Nafisa. If anyone hears, it will bring shame upon our family. You must endure." "But Mama, it was not my fault," Nafisa cried, her voice breaking. "Silence." Mama Zara's voice trembled. "You are right, my child, but the world will not care. It is cruel, unforgiving. We must protect our name." Nafisa's chest tightened. Her own mother's fear had become her prison. As the months passed, her once lively spirit dulled. She avoided her friends, withdrew from her siblings, and kept her stories locked deep within her. Everything changed when a new woman arrived in Gidan Tudu. Her name was Hauwa, a teacher sent from the city. She was young, bold, and unafraid to challenge tradition. She spoke with passion about education, justice, and the rights of every child. Hauwa's charisma attracted the village children, and even some of the elders grew curious. Nafisa watched her from afar, her curiosity battling the fear within her. One afternoon, Hauwa gathered the children under the broad shade of a baobab tree. She spoke of courage and resilience, of the importance of speaking up when wronged. Nafisa's hands trembled as she approached Hauwa after the lesson. "May I speak to you?" she whispered. Hauwa's gaze was gentle, her smile warm. "Of course, Nafisa." Tears spilled from Nafisa's eyes as she poured out her story. Hauwa listened intently, her own eyes glistening with empathy. "You are not alone, Nafisa," Hauwa said softly. "Your voice deserves to be heard." Hauwa encouraged Nafisa to confront her parents, to speak her truth, even if it shook the ground beneath their feet. Malam Umar's reaction was fierce, his voice thunderous. But Mama Zara wept, her own silence shattered by her daughter's courage. Over time, Nafisa's bravery inspired others. Girls and women who had suffered in silence began to speak out. The village was shaken, but change began to grow like seedlings in the dry earth. Years later, Nafisa returned to Gidan Tudu as an advocate for justice. Her words, once silenced, now rang like a bell across the village. Standing before the villagers who once valued silence over truth, she spoke with conviction. Silence can protect pain, but it can never heal it. Our voices are our power. We must never be afraid to speak our truth.